Yesterday, history was made on the House floor as for the 25th time in the history of our nation, a sitting congressman was censured by his colleagues, and it was Adam Schiff, and that made it really, really awesome. The Democrats who defended him, though, well, that's actually kind of depressing. Take a look.
Today, we're voting on a joke of a measure to censure Adam Schiff, a true public servant and patriot. I urge a strong no against this resolution targeting a true American hero.
What I do know, Mr. Speaker, is that Adam Schiff defended the U.S. Constitution. He led an impartial investigation, which followed the facts, which led to the first of 2 impeachments of a former president.
And he held the ethically and legally challenged former president accountable. But what really gnaws on the majority, what really bothers them, is that Mr. Schiff was way better than anybody on their team at debate, at leadership, at messaging, at legal knowledge. He kicked their ass. He was better, he was more effective, and that still bothers them.
Mr. Chairman, I could go point by point and prove that the resolution is false, but time is short. I'll just say Adam tells the truth.
This is political theater by the author who clearly was not here to distract from Donald Trump's history of transgressions and now indictments. It's also an attempt to punish Congressman Adam Schiff for effectively holding Trump to account. Congressman Schiff protected us from fascism at home and abroad.
Today, I wear this partisan vote as a badge of honor, knowing that I have lived my oath, knowing that I have done my duty to hold a dangerous and out-of-control president accountable, and knowing that I would do so again in a heartbeat.
Adam tells the truth. Whew, Zoe Lofgren, man. I mean, the guy literally read the Steele dossier into the congressional record when he was on the Intel Committee. Congressman Pat Fallon was there to watch it all. He's on the Oversight and Accountability Committee out of Texas. Congressman, thanks for joining us.
Sure, no, thanks for having me on.
What do you make of this disparate view of the truth and what's appropriate for a congressman to conduct themselves? This isn't about Schiff opposing Donald Trump. It's not about Schiff impeaching Donald Trump. It's about Schiff outright lying to the American people and using his power and influence on the Intel Committee to perpetuate that lie.
Larry, they said it was an impartial investigation. This is the furthest thing from it. I mean, it was laughable. It was actually, I was laughing and it's sad at the same time. And then the reaction of the Democrats after he was censured was disgusting. There was just no respect for the chamber or the institution. They started chanting like, little 1968 hippies.
Yeah.
Shame, shame, screaming at the top of their lungs. This is the United States House of Representatives. Have some decorum, but they don't care as long if it's something that they agree with. It has to be the truth. They had Trump derangement syndrome was in full effect yesterday on the House floor. Yeah,
and that chant of shame, shame may resonate a little bit more if they actually displayed any sense of shame. But yes, they clearly don't. But Congressman, your committee is about accountability, and sure, this is kind of a big deal, but really it isn't. I mean, Schiff is fundraising off of this. In California, this might even help his campaign for Senate.
No, he might get elected because of it, because it is so partisan, and that's what you get when you have incredibly safe Democratic districts. They can do and say whatever they want, so long as it appeals to the emotion of the left. Doesn't have to follow any facts, because we know the facts are, if you truly are impartial, you know that the Russian collusion was a complete hoax. Yeah. The Steele dossier was a fiction, paid for by Hillary Clinton, $175,000 from her, and the rest, about over $800,000, from the Democratic National Committee, totaling $1,065,000, and there wasn't a kernel of truth in it. It was purely a political hit job.
And we certainly saw that almost simultaneously as Mr. Durham was testifying before the Judiciary Committee while this vote happened right afterwards. So what's next? The American people want to know what's next as they see this. Your committee now, by the way, earlier today was handed information from the Ways and Means Committee with regard to the IRS whistleblower showing that the Justice Department dragged their feet on the Hunter Biden investigation. That looks like obstruction of justice. Your chairman, Mr. Comer, warned the Justice Department not to enter a plea because they had more information coming out. What are you guys going to do?
Well, if it weren't for us having the majority, the Republicans having the majority in the Oversight Committee, we would have never found any of this out.
Absolutely.
We knew, Larry, before we were in the majority, that there was at least $1 million that had been funneled from foreign nationals into the pockets of the Biden family syndicate. Now we know for sure it was 10 million, most likely up to $50 million. We wouldn't have known that if we didn't have subpoena power and if we didn't have the authority to hold Director Wray in contempt of Congress. That's why. So they've been cooperating very begrudgingly. And what about the suspicious activity reports? That's something that Congress always had access to until last Congress, when we found out that there were 150 plus SARs filed because of the Biden family banking activity. But we were denied access for 2 years until we had the majority.
Right.
So this truly, it smacks of a two-tier justice system, which again is incredibly dangerous and is very chilling.
It is a two-tier justice system, but when you boil it down with regard to the Biden family, it's just flat-out corruption. Your committee has revealed at least 20 shell corporations set up when Joe Biden became vice president. The reason you set up those corporations is to hide money. When Joe Biden was confronted about the latest allegations with regard to a $5 million bribe, his response was, "Where's the money?" I mean, doesn't take a crack investigator to see that there's something there, I think.
Well, listen, let's be really honest. These are the things we know for sure. 2019, Joe Biden said he built this firewall, and he said, I have no idea what Hunter Biden does business-wise, and I've never met any of his business associates. We know that to be a patent lie, dozens of times, if not scores of times over, number one. Number two, if you're conducting honest business and legitimate business, you don't need to set up 20 shell corporations. I don't know anybody that pockets seed money because they keep lying and they get caught in a lie and they make up another lie.
Yeah.
And by the way, what do the Bidens do? What service do they provide? What product do they sell? Even the Democrats can't tell us that because they thought they had a legitimate business and didn't know that they were just lying even to them.
Yeah.
So all these things, what do they smell like? And by the way, the 170 now suspicious activity reports, the wiring money through shell corporations. And then why did Joe Biden get referred to as the big guy by the the Ukrainian oligarch, but also by Americans that were doing business with Hunter Biden? The big guy clearly was Joe Biden. He was getting, a kickback.
Right. So we only got a minute left. I'm going to ask you a really naive question, but sorry, I feel like it has to be asked. If I get $5 million from a foreign entity to allow somebody to have access to an elected official, high-ranking elected official, if all I do is provide a meeting and they go and have a meeting with that elected official, is that legal? Can I do that?
I think it's a quid pro quo. If it's direct quid pro quo, it's very illegal.
I thought so.
And that's what they've been doing, though. They sell an influence and access.
Yeah.
Period. End of story. Full stop. They lie and say they didn't, and then there are White House logs, and then there's photos of them in the Brady briefing room, and then there's a dinner because of Hunter Biden's laptop and his carelessness. There's a dinner over at Cafe Milano in 2015 with these associates.
Yeah.
If Joe Biden was legitimate, all he had to say in 2019 was, yeah, my son is in the energy sector and he is in the rare earth mineral sector, although he has no experience doing that, I suppose. But that's what he does, and I've occasionally met with some of his business associates, and I wish him the best.
Yeah.
He didn't do that. He always tried to cover. He always tried to obfuscate because they are crooked as the day is long.
Well, we live in a world where a congresswoman can sit on the floor and say Adam Schiff tells the truth, and so I don't know where we are right now. Really, and I do mean really fast. Can articles of impeachment come out of the Oversight Committee, or do they have to come from a special impeachment committee? I'm just asking for a friend.
Oh, no, I believe there's an article to jurisdiction. I think it can come from the Judiciary Committee. It could
Judiciary.
Come from Oversight. Yeah, I think typically it's Judiciary. That's just the way they kind of want to handle it.
Could we get Jordan on here next? Thank you. Thank you, Congressman Fallon. Good to talk with you. We'll be back. More to come on O'Connor Tonight.